Good evening, people. It's your boy John. I'm back at you again from the forest. Today, I'm going to take you on a little walk. Okay? Because I don't actually have a subject to talk about. I don't have a particular thing that I want to impart. But I'm one of those people that will come to the conclusion as I'm talking. Alright? That's how I do my thing. I sort of just talk and talk and let the intuition flow naturally. So I'm a bit of a rambler. You can probably tell from my very long videos, which last in excess of 20 bloody minutes. But I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you sticking around and actually going through the whole thing if you do. I know it can be quite tedious at times. You actually can see me do some parkour as well. Fucking hell. It's really windy. It's been very windy the last few days. It's a beautiful day, man. It's a bit chilly, but it's sunny. It's clear. You can really hear the wind. Can you hear that? You can really hear it rustling through. Yeah, just look at that. Look at the way the trees are just moving. It's bloody beautiful. Woke up very late today. I'm not happy with that at all. I don't know what's going on. I think it's just laziness, man. Very lazy. You know, I've got big goals. I've got very big goals to achieve, and my laziness is a massive vice. Alright? It's like I've gotten rid of all the other vices. The only one that I've got now is smoking, which is a vice. And it's probably causing more problems now that I've cleared out all the other vices. But laziness, that's also a vice. Procrastination, that's a vice. You know, procrastination is the biggest killer of all goals. If you really look at it, you can be very ambitious. You can have big goals to achieve. You can have big dreams and visions, but procrastination will just kill all of it. Laziness, sleeping in, staying on the couch all day. Do you know? That's just not good, man. It's not good. I wonder if I'm going to see anyone here today again. Every time I come here, the last few days I've come here, there's always been someone here now. And I remember looking one of the previous videos, someone commented that it's very quiet, so, you know, he hasn't seen anyone in the entire video. You fucking jinxed me, dude. You jinxed me, because now I come to the forest, and every time I've come here, there's always been someone that's been here. It's fucking ridiculous. I like my privacy, you know. I like being private, especially when I make these videos, but that's why I choose this place right here. I choose the forest because it's just me and the forest. No talking, well, apart from this. No mental bullshit, no stress, just life. Just alive, man. Just alive. It's good. It's good. You know, this simplicity of life, it completely took off, man. I just didn't even know it existed before meditation and discovering spirituality. Discovering the fact that I was a spiritual being was a great source of liberation for me. A great source of understanding that there isn't just a human dimension, because that can get very overwhelming. It can get very overwhelming at times when you just perceive yourself to be an animate object that has consciousness, that is alive, but has all of these problems, has all of these issues, you know. It gets overwhelming at times, it can get really stressful, but discovering that everything else around you shares the same life source as you, everything else is alive, I mean, just hear that bloody wind, man. That's life. That's life. And to know that you're not alone, to know that you are alive like everything else is, you all share the same source, the same beginning. That's liberation right there. That's freedom. And that's freedom that you won't ever discover with materialistic endeavors. If you choose to go into a consumerist life and make that your only source of being, you're never going to find freedom. You'll always be looking for that next thing. You'll always be trying to find this next thing that you want, that you think is going to fulfill you, but it's never going to really fulfill you. It's never really going to do the job, is it? There's always going to be something else. Because that's what you're left with, aren't you? You're left with desire. You're left with just wanting now. I just want, and life now becomes want, desire. And it becomes a trek, right? Life becomes this staircase that you're just always going up. You're always wanting the next thing, and when you don't get it, you feel upset. You feel like life isn't going the way you thought it ought to be. You know, and then that's how life becomes suffering. Because it becomes a series of wants and getting to the next destination, rather than being simply what it is. Life just being, living, experiencing, awareness. That's what life is. In its perfect form, it's just existence. Let the flower, Eckhart Tolle says this, and I never got this. I never really understood what he was talking about until I actually experienced it. But he said, let the flower be your spiritual teacher. Yeah, that's what he said. Let the flower be your spiritual teacher. What did he mean by that? Well, if you look at a flower, it's still. It's just there. It's just being, right? It's just alive. It's just aware, experiencing life. That's it. It's very simple. It grows in increments every month, every year. It's growing all the time. You just can't see it. But he says, learn from the flower. Let the flower be your spiritual teacher. And now I get it. When I look at a flower and I just see its peaceful simplicity, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense as to why the flower is your spiritual teacher. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to just be silent. It's good to just enjoy the silence and let it be what it is. You know, most people can't stand silence. Did you know that? They can't stand it. They feel that they need to fill the silence because they can't stand the silence. They think it's being awkward. I used to think silence was awkward. I used to think that you had to always fill in the silence. But now I realise that the truth is spoken when it's silent. A person's true nature is revealed when it's silent. Are you silent because you're fearful? Are you silent because you have nothing to say? Or are you silent because you're just experiencing life? When I was at the beginning of this year, it was quite common for the housemates to go out, you know, outside and smoke, right, in the smoking area. I sort of changed that habit by smoking inside because I got lazy and sort of influenced everyone else. So now everyone smokes inside. Well, there's only 2 people that smoke now, so it's only me and this other guy, and we both smoke inside. And I remember at the beginning of the year we'd have conversations. We'd just be outside, and when we talk, sometimes there'd be there'd be a bit of silence, right? A gap of silence. And I always just went into the silence, enjoyed it, experienced it. And everybody else, when I looked at them, and I made eye contact, and I was just looking at everyone else that was around me, They were all so awkward with the silence. They didn't know how to deal with it. They didn't know how to deal with the silence. One guy was so bothered by the silence that he had to mention the fact that, oh, why is everyone so silent? Some people just don't understand what silence means. Some people don't even understand what the meaning behind it is. And they're so far-fetched in their thinking. He who does not respect silence does not respect himself, in my opinion. You know, because when you gain this bit of awareness about your mind, when you watch the mind, when you become the watcher, the knower rather than the doer, the thinker, there's this gap that's created between the thinking and you. You, when I use that word, is the awareness, the consciousness, the thing that's able to see what's going on, witness. And when you become that awareness, there is nothing there. It's nothing. Nothing's there, nothing's going on. You're just witnessing, you're perceiving, you're just being, you're not doing anything. It's silence, it's nothingness. You are at your core nothing. But when you say that to most people nowadays, you're nothing, they'll take that as an insult, they'll take that as a source of being offended. Yeah, they'll say that you're being offensive by calling me nothing. I'm this complex human being. I'm this unique source. I have my life experiences, I've got my emotions, I've got my thoughts. I'm so important, I'm so special. How dare you say I'm nothing? How dare you? You know? That's not them though. That's not them talking, is it? That's the ego. The ego hates being called nothing. Hates when you say to the ego, you're not important, boy. You're not important. You're not. If you think you are, you're deluded. You're very deluded. Being okay with silence means that you're okay with being nothing. It means that you're okay not attaching yourself to a deluded sense of self, which really is deluded. If you believe it, if you feed it. It's really windy today, isn't it? Oh. It's beautiful, man. The forest is that place of solitude that I was talking about a few weeks ago when I was making a video about solitude. The forest is this place, man. That's it. It's home. And the reason I say it's home is because it's very easy to be present in the forest. It's easy to just be in the moment and not be caught up in the mental phantoms that society or civilization causes. Now, here's the thing. When I say that, I don't mean that you should completely reject society and say I'm not going to be a part of it anymore. That would be, I mean, if that's your choice, feel free to do what you want, you know, it's your life. If that's your choice, if you feel that leaving society and civilization is the best thing for me, then, you know, God be with you. Do what you want. That's all good. But I think for a lot of us, we still want a job. We want food on the table. We need an income. Okay, that's to say that you don't need an income is being deluded. You need an income. You need to survive. You need to have work. Okay, you need to have a job, some sort of purpose in the human realm. You need that. Okay, I will say that you need that. Not for personal satisfaction, not for psychological gratification, but just simply to feed yourself, for physical sustenance. Okay, you work to feed yourself. You work for water, to afford water, whatever. You work to have a shelter, a roof over your head. Okay, you do these things to simply keep yourself alive. So you need to be involved in human society to some degree. But it's very easy to then get very involved in that life. Because here's the difference. Once you encounter or experience a realm of enlightenment, you're in this place where you don't really need to do anything. You don't need anything to be happy. You're just happy being yourself now. You're happy just being alive. And that's good. That's fantastic. It's a definite source of freedom. But I think people get a bit too carried away with it. It's like what the Buddhist said. What do you do before enlightenment? Cut wood. What do you do after enlightenment? You cut wood. Right? You still need to have an income. You still need to have a job that is going to provide you with food, water, and a roof over your head. This is all you need to survive. Okay? To satisfy human relationships, you know, we humans want. It's a great source of psychological gratification to have intimacy with a partner. So, you know, to satisfy that realm, you find a woman who you get along with. You have children, have kids, raise your kids. Okay? Raise your kids, continue doing your work, and be alive. That's it. That's life. Have friends to have a joke, laugh around, to share stories, to have banter. And that's it. You don't need anything else. You don't need anything else. My ambitions used to be a source of psychological gratification, and indeed one of them is. Okay, so let's say me being a psychologist, I want to work towards being a psychologist, and I also want to join the Royal Marines. Okay, these are my two biggest goals that I want to achieve. Okay, Marines is a bit of a psychological gratification. It is. Okay, because it's a challenge, it's a test. It's a test, and it's also just been a dream of mine since I was a kid, since I was 11 years old. Ever since I watched The Pacific, all I could think about was the Marines. Seeing them go from the boats onto the beach and just running into the fire, running into danger, getting killed, getting shot at. For some reason, just said, I want to do that. I want to do it. It's scary. You're damn right, it's fucking scary, man. It's not supposed to be fun. Well, it can be fun, but it's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be... You're not supposed to have the lack of fear. It's courageous behaviour. And it's always called me to do that sort of thing. I've always wanted to do those kind of things, dangerous things. I've been disenlightened or disillusioned with mundane life. I've been disillusioned with not having to experience adventure and put myself to the test, because it's very easy to be in your place of comfort. Very easy to just accept things for what they are and just stagnate and decay. But the Marines is one of those lifestyles where you don't ever be complacent. You're forced to not be complacent. You have to be disciplined, and you have to give it your best at everything. That green beret that you get at the end of 32 weeks, if you're going in as a regular, if you're going in as a reservist, that's at the end of 18 months. All right? At the end of 18 months, that's because that's what I'm going to be going as a reservist. When I get my green beret, that green beret is simply a recognition of, number one, entering a brotherhood, which has been my dream to enter, and number two, the fact that you did it. You overcame the challenges, you overcame the difficulty, you overcame adversity, and you did it with a smile on your face as well. You didn't bitch and cry and moan about it. You did it and you had a smile on your face, and now you're accepted as a worthy member of a brotherhood, an elite brotherhood, which is never going to forget you. Never going to forget you. That kind of acceptance in that kind of organization is what a lot of men crave when they join up, because they love the Marines. It's not like they join because their dad told them to, or because they want a little challenge, fitness challenge. No, a lot of people join the Marines because they love the Marines. They love it, and they want to be a part of that brotherhood. They want to be a part of that brotherhood, and they don't want to live a mundane life. They don't want to live a life without challenge and adversity. They don't want to live a life without having to use their manliness, okay? They don't want to live a life without having put their manliness to the test. What's the point of being a man? What's the point of being a man if you're not putting it to the test? If you're not putting yourself to the test? If you're not having constant challenges and adversity to continue to grow and be tough? What's the point of being a man? There's no point then, man. There's no point. You might as well be a woman then. No disrespect to women. Women are women, and women are supposed to be who they are, and I respect and love women for what they are. But what's the point of being a man, I'm saying, if you're not putting yourself to the test and challenging yourself every day? What's the point? God created you as a man to be tough. God created you as a man to be strong. Why do you think our bodies, when we tone them up, when we have a low body fat percentage, why do you think our bodies are hard? Why do you think they're rigid? Why do you think our muscles are tight? Why do you think our faces become hard when we experience years and years of challenge and adversity? Why do you think we look like rocks by the end of our lives? And women look soft. Women look soft. Women look comfy, nurturing. Women look like something. For me, women are like pillows. You cuddle into them and they just sort of mold you. Right? They mold your spirit and they mold your body. And you just enter into that place of comfort. That's what women are, comfort. Women are made as comfort to men, in the sense, I don't want to come across as misogynistic, but women are made to be accepting to manly nature, which is hard. That's what men are. We're hard. We're rigid. It took me a while to realize this, to realize that men are not meant to be soft. We're not meant to be this accepting, nurturing kind of figure. Of course, you can be a kind individual. Don't get me wrong. You can be kind. You can be loving, but your willingness to accept challenge and overcome it is what makes you a man in the first place. And before, when I was a kid, I used to see this as being egoic. I used to see this as being an ego sort of thing. And whilst it is, to some degree, it's also in your nature. Men want to prove themselves. They always have and they always will. And it's what's got us to where we are in civilization today. The need to prove ourselves to be great and worthy. Worthy of other men's respect, worthy of the love of a woman, and ultimately worthy of ourselves. It's very important. It's a very, very strong virtue for men. And the Marines, of course, provide you with that brotherhood of manliness, that brotherhood of manly virtue. What's their virtues? The four tenets of their ethos: courage, determination, cheerfulness in the face of adversity. Okay, and there's another one which I've forgotten: courage, determination, cheerfulness in the face of adversity, and one more. God, forgot it, man. Shit. But it's very similar to the Stoic virtues, which I do remember: courage, justice, moderation, and discipline. Very, very similar. Very, very similar. All right, lads. Hope you enjoyed this little walk. I certainly did. I'm going to be here again with another video. I'll probably make another one right after this, which is going to be a lot more specific to a certain topic. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the piece. I hope you enjoyed the wind. I hope you enjoyed the birds. And I, most importantly, hope you enjoyed my nice little rambling. Take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.